So friends, today we are going to talk about the topic of mechanism of countercurrent, which is also known as the concentration mechanism. So this is also called as concentration mechanism. Why? Because it concentrates the urine, it devoids the loss of water through the body. So this is known as a countercurrent mechanism. Now the location of this countercurrent mechanism is medulla. So let us understand where is it located. So if we talk about this is Bowman's capsule, which leads to a broad structure. Let's say this is PCT, which forms a loop-like structure, and this is what you call it as Henle's loop, which again forms a broader structure, BCT, and that leads to again the collecting duct. So basically this is a structure of a typical nephron. We also know that the nephron, this much portion is located in cortex. So this upper portion is cortex, whereas the lower portion is known as medulla. Now, if we talk about another structure, so what are the structures involved? The first is Henle's loop. So Henle's loop is involved, and the second structure that is involved is known as vasa recta. Now, what do you mean by vasa recta? So we know that the afferent renal arteriole enters over here and it comes out as efferent renal arteriole. That is what we have already seen. So efferent renal arteriole is making a loop around this vasa recta, this way. This way, it is making a loop around the Henle's loop, and then it is going out like this. Like this, it is going out. So, if we see this, if we see the direction of what you can say Henle's loop, this is the descending limb of Henle's loop. I'll just label over here. This is the descending limb of Henle's loop or descending Henle's loop. On the other side, this is the ascending Henle's loop. So, what is present in this Henle's loop? The Henle's loop consists of the filtrate that has come from this glomerulus to PCT to the Henle's loop. So as I said, the Henle's loop consists of filtrate, and the direction of Henle's loop is this. Now, if we talk about the vasa recta, what is vasa recta? The capillaries that surrounds the Henle's loop. This is what I have drawn with the red colored pen. This is known as the vasa recta. So this is vasa recta. Now, if the Henle's loop is in this direction, the vasa recta is in this direction. And what does vasa recta has? Vasa recta has blood inside it, the filtered blood. So vasa recta consists of blood. I repeat again, Henle's loop is in this direction and the vasa recta is in this direction. So it is creating a counter flow, a opposite flow. That is why this mechanism is known as counter current mechanism. The flow of filtrate in the two Henle's loop is also in opposite direction. The flow of blood in the two limb of vasa recta is also in opposite direction. So that is making the flow of filtrate in the Henle's loop and the flow of blood in the vasa recta in the opposite direction, and that is what it is creating. Which flow? It is creating a counter flow. Counter, that is opposite. So one is going in this direction, the another one is going in this direction. Alright, so where is it located? It is all located in which area? It is located in medulla. And the next point is what? There is a proximity between vasa recta and Henle's loop. So the Henle's loop and this vasa recta, let's label vasa recta. So this is going to be descending vasa recta, and this is going to be the ascending vasa recta. Okay. So furthermore, we can say that. And what is the structure that surrounds this Henle's loop and vasa recta called? So all this structure that is which is surrounding over here is known as IMF. Here is also IMF. The space actually is IMF. IMF is interstitial medullary fluid. So this all space surrounding the Henle's loop and vasa recta is known as IMF. So this is basically how the structures are located in the medullary part. You just need to remember one point which I am repeating again and again. That is a very important point. What is that? Flow of filtrate in Henle's loop and flow of blood in vasa recta are in opposite direction. Now, we also know the nature of Henle's loop as we have studied in the previous topic, that the Henle's loop descending limb is made up of squamous epithelium and it is permeable to water and impermeable to salts, whereas this is ascending limb which is again made up of cuboidal epithelium and that is permeable to salts and impermeable to water. So we know the nature. Next, when we talk about this vasa recta, so we also know that it is made up of endothelial cells. So now next we will discuss with the process of countercurrent. This is the basic idea, how is it located, how there is a proximity, how there is a closeness between the vasa recta and the Henle's loop. Now let us begin with the process of countercurrent. So here we go with the process of countercurrent. So first I will draw this as a Henle's loop. So first of all, understanding the Henle's loop here. This is a descending Henle's loop. Whereas this is a ascending Henle's loop. Further, it is in a close proximity with the vasa recta. So I'll draw it this way. This is vasa recta. So it is in a close proximity with the vasa recta. Now, this is the ascending Henle's loop. So this is the descending vasa recta, and this is the ascending vasa recta. And this whole structure is located where? It is located in the medulla. Now, if we talk about this descending Henle's loop, so let us begin over here. So we know that this descending Henle's loop is permeable to water and impermeable to salts. So I'll write over here, descending Henle's loop is permeable to water and impermeable to salts. So what will happen? From here the water is drawn out this way. So water comes out. I'll write H2O. Where does the H2O comes out? In this area, and that area is known as IMF. What is that? Interstitial medullary fluid. So I'll write over here that water is drawn out into medulla. So because water is drawn out from Henle's loop, what condition prevails in Henle's loop? It is getting hypertonic. Salts remains inside and the water is coming out. So the condition becomes hypertonic. So I'll write it over here that as the water is drawn out, the condition inside this becomes hypertonic. It becomes hypertonic. So water is drawn out in the medulla. So Henle's loop becomes hypertonic. Similarly, if I talk about this ascending Henle's loop, so I'll write over here ascending Henle's loop is permeable to salts. This one. So what will come out from here into the interstitial medullary fluid? NaCl. I'll write over here salt is coming out over here. So what will happen? The condition that is developing over here is hypotonic. What condition is developing over here? Hypotonic. So ascending loop is permeable. So the salts are drawn out into IMF, that is interstitial medullary fluid, this area. After this, what happens? So the condition over here, that is ascending Henle's loop, becomes hypotonic. Hypotonic. So this is the primary condition that is prevailing because of the permeability of Henle's loop descending and the ascending limb. Now let us understand the next point, that is vasa recta. Now the cells of vasa recta are a kind of capillary, so it is made up of endothelial cells. Now what will happen? This salt which has been removed from this Henle's loop will enter into the what? Vasa recta. So I'll write here again, salts from IMF enters into which limb? Descending vasa recta. Descending vasa recta. In return, the vasa recta will withdraw some amount of water this way. Some amount of water into the IMF. So what will happen? This area will have a bit amount of salt and some amount of water. Water is drawn out by vasa recta. So in short, what we need to remember? First, the ascending Henle's loop is removing salt and the descending vasa recta is removing water. This is the point which you need to remember over here. And what is being taken by descending vasa recta? The salts here. Now, as the blood in this vasa recta moves on this direction, that is, it is becoming ascending vasa recta. What is happening? It is taking, now this blood is hypertonic because it has taken salts from here, so this is hypertonic. So what is happening over here? From this area, it is taking in water. It is taking in water. So I'll write that point over here that the water from IMF is entering into this, that is ascending vasa recta. Enters into ascending vasa recta. Meanwhile, ascending vasa recta क्या बाहर निकालेगा? What it will remove? It will remove some amount of salts this way. So here also in IMF, H2O and salt concentration is maintained. So I'll write over here that salts is drawn out by ascending vasa recta. So what is removed from here? Water, and water is taken by this vasa recta, and what is removed by this? The vasa recta will remove the salt. So here also in IMF, both water and salts what you can say amount would be balanced. Now let us understand once more again the same point. तो अब अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं ये क्या है. This is a descending Henle's loop. We know that it is permeable to water and impermeable to salts. तो ये क्या करेगी? यहाँ से पानी बाहर निकाल के ये IMF को दे देगी. और इसके बाद में यहाँ पे आता है जो है ascending Henle's loop. वो क्या है? permeable to salts and impermeable to water. तो वो निकालेगी salts, पानी वो नहीं निकालेगी. और इसी वजह से क्योंकि उसके पास पानी रह जाता है, ये हाइपोटोनिक होता है, और यहाँ से पानी निकल जाता है तो ये हाइपरटोनिक हो जाता है. दिस इज द बेसिक पॉइंट. अब इफ यू टॉक अबाउट दिस, अगर ये असेंडिंग हेनलीज लूप है तो इसके नेक्स्ट में डिसेंडिंग वासा रेक्टा होगा. अब जो कुछ भी सॉल्ट्स ये असेंडिंग हेनलीज लूप ने निकाले हैं वो सॉल्ट्स एंटर होंगे कहाँ? वो सॉल्ट्स एंटर होंगे वासा रेक्टा में, ब्लड में. और वासा रेक्टा के अंदर से क्या बाहर आ जाएगा? H2O. ये H2O क्यों बाहर आ रहा है? ये H2O आने की वजह क्या है? तो यहाँ पे सॉल्ट्स होने की वजह से ये H2O बाहर निकल रहा है. अब यही ब्लड जिसने सॉल्ट्स लिए हैं वो घूम के यहाँ पे आएगा, और यहाँ से वो क्या करेगा? जितना भी थोड़ा बहुत जो वाटर इसने निकाला है, ये डिसेंडिंग लिम्ब ने निकाला है, वो ये असेंडिंग वासा रेक्टा ले लेगा. और असेंडिंग वासा रेक्टा थोड़ा बहुत क्या बाहर निकालेगा? सॉल्ट निकालेगा. पानी ले लेगा और सॉल्ट निकालेगा. Whatever, दोनों का ऑपोजिट नेचर है, प्लस दोनों का जो फ्लो है, यहाँ पे फिल्ट्रेट का फ्लो है और यहाँ पे जो कुछ भी ब्लड का फ्लो है वो कैसा है? ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में है. और what do they do? वो क्या करते हैं कि सॉल्ट्स और H2O की ऑस्मोलैरिटी यहाँ पे मेंटेन रहती है. कहाँ मेंटेन रहती है? इंटरस्टिशियल मेड्युलरी फ्लूइड के अंदर, इस प्रोसेस की वजह से. अभी क्या होता है? बिकॉज ऑफ दिस, अगर यहाँ पे ऑस्मोलैरिटी का रेट 300 है, कहाँ? कोर्टेक्स में, तो दैट विल इंक्रीज. over here it will become 400, here it will become 600, let's say here it will become 800, then it will become 900, and here it will become 1200. मतलब rate of osmolarity will increase from 300 कोर्टेक्स में होता है, और उससे इंक्रीज होके वो मेड्यूला में कितनी हो जाएगी? 1200 ऑस्मोलैरिटी, जो ऑस्मोलैरिटी होती है वो. तो 300 से 1200 ऑस्मोलैरिटी होना मतलब कितना कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड हो रहा है चीज? 3 से 1200, दैट इज 4 टाइम्स. सो जो कुछ भी यूरिन यहाँ से बाहर निकलेगा वो 4 टाइम कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड हो जाएगा. और वो 4 टाइम कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड क्यों होता है? बिकॉज द रीजन इज व्हाट? दिस इज द काउंटर करंट मैकेनिज्म. वो उसकी वजह से जो इनिशियल फिल्ट्रेट जो 300 था, उस जिसकी ऑस्मोलैरिटी, वो यहाँ आके हो रही है 1200. मतलब 4 टाइम्स जो यूरिन बाहर निकलेगा वो कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड होके निकलेगा. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस मैकेनिज्म व्हाट इज हैपन? यूरिन इज concentrated. How much times? It is concentrated 4 times. This is the main importance of the counter current mechanism. अब काउंटर करंट मैकेनिज्म का दूसरा इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है? तो आप देख सकते हो कि H2O और सॉल्ट्स का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन मेड्यूलरी फ्लूइड में बनाए रखता है. सो दैट इज द सेकेंड इंपॉर्टेंस. सो सेकेंड इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ इज व्हाट? कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ऑफ इंटरस्टिशियल मेड्यूलरी फ्लूइड इज मेंटेन्ड. और तीसरा इसका इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है कि ये देखो ब्लड जा रहा है वासा रेक्टा में, तो इवन इन द वासा रेक्टा यू कैन से दैट द कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ऑफ सॉल्ट्स एंड वाटर इज मेंटेन, दैट इज ब्लड के अंदर भी वाटर और सॉल्ट का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन मेंटेन रहता है. सो द थर्ड इंपॉर्टेंस इज concentration of water and salts is maintained in blood. So these are the three main importance of what? Counter current mechanism. So this is about the counter current mechanism. एक और पॉइंट याद रखना यहाँ पे, अगर हेनलीज लूप की साइज लॉन्गर होगी तो कॉन्सेंट्रेशन मैकेनिज्म ज्यादा होगा, मतलब यूरिन ज्यादातर कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड होगा. और हेनलीज लूप लॉन्ग किस में होती है? हेनलीज लूप लॉन्ग ज्यादातर उन एनिमल्स में होती है जो डिजर्ट में रहते हैं, क्योंकि उनको वाटर को कंजर्व करना होता है. तो ज्यादातर दोज एनिमल्स विच लिव इन ड्राई एरिया possesses longer Henle's loop. Longer the Henle's loop, more is the counter current mechanism. More is the counter current mechanism, more concentrated is the urine, and less is the loss of water. So this is all about the counter current mechanism. So now let us see the role of urea in the counter current mechanism. हमने यूरिन फॉर्मेशन में देखा था कि some amount of urea is absorbed by this collecting duct. मतलब क्या होता है, ल्यूमेन में से यूरिया एब्सॉर्ब हो जाता है इस तरीके से, और वो कलेक्टिंग डक्ट की वॉल में से रहकर यूरिया कम्स आउट, बाहर निकल के कहाँ आ जाता है, तो वो आ जाता है इंटरस्टिशियल मेड्यूलरी फ्लूइड में. ओके, अब इंटरस्टिशियल मेड्यूलरी फ्लूइड में बाहर आ जाता है और कहीं ना कहीं से यहाँ से इट इज परमिएबल टू सॉल्ट्स, यहाँ से क्या निकल आता है, NaCl, या तो फिर हम कहेंगे सॉल्ट्स. तो उसकी वजह से क्या होता है कि यहाँ पे जो कंडीशन होती है इंटरस्टिशियल मेड्यूलरी फ्लूइड की जो कंडीशन होती है दैट इज बिकमिंग हाइपरटोनिक. कैसी कंडीशन हो जाती है? हाइपरटोनिक. रिमेंबर, सो व्हाट विल हैपन, यहाँ से ये जो वासा रेक्टा जा रहा है वो क्या करेगा, इसकी वजह से वासा रेक्टा में से क्या हो जाता है, सम अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर इज लॉस्ट in the interstitial medullary fluid. So if I say what is the role of urea in the counter current mechanism, to remember that when urea is drawn out into the interstitial medullary fluid from the collecting duct, it will help the draining out of water from the vasa recta and will maintain the osmolarity into the interstitial medullary fluid. So this is a tiny but important role of urea. So ideally अगर हम कहें कि कौन सी दो चीजें हैं जो मेड्यूलरी फ्लूइड में वाटर का ड्रेनिंग के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, तो यू हैव टू रिमेंबर देयर आर टू थिंग्स. वन थिंग इज व्हाट, दैट इज NaCl. And what is the second thing? The second thing that is important is urea. So this both things will help to maintain the osmolarity or the rate of osmosis in the interstitial medullary fluid.